We are rolling. She's managing attention, communicating respect, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name, feel the love. Start your speech.
Maria.
Hi, Maria.
So us UCLA students, we're not only known for our smarts, but we're also known for our killer calves. As we walk across campus each day, we walk across many stairs, many hills, and we seem like a trek up Mount Everest. But according to American Health College Association, only about 57% of students do not get enough exercise. But enough exercise, they mean 30 minutes a day, 5 times a week. So with this, I wanted to encourage you to work out 30 minutes a day every day. And with this, you will experience many benefits, and I will give you 2 reasons why this will be beneficial to you. So I know this will relate to you because as college students, we have experienced stress, especially during finals. We've had trouble falling asleep, trouble staying asleep, and exercises can help alleviate this and help improve these factors in our lives. So the first reason I want to encourage you to work out 30 minutes a day is so you will be happier overall. And a study done by Dr. Saras in 2014, he states how the article was called Lifestyle Changes to Help with Depression. So exercising is an alternative medication to things like depression, obesity, and poor sleep. So by incorporating exercise, he said that we can improve our self-body image, and these are some of the factors that help lower depression and inclination to it. Another study that supports this is done by Dr. Augenston from Norway, and she did a study in 2008 where she studied teenagers in Norway that did work out and teenagers that did not. And the ones that did not, they had higher depression rates. And when I went to Norway over the summer, I saw that a lot of people were really, really fit. Everybody was hiking, everybody was biking, always outdoors, and they have more of an inclination to depression because they have such cold winter months where they have like 2 hours of daylight. So to battle this, I saw that they exercise a lot and how it benefited them. So I feel that exercising is a great medication that can help alleviate many of the struggles that we go through, and it can help improve your self-body image and just make you a happier person overall. The second reason I want to encourage you to exercise is in the long run, it will really benefit you. My example for this comes from a study done in 2013 by Dr. Mark Hammer, how he studied older people for 8 years, and he saw that the people that did exercise, they had healthier aging. By healthier aging, he meant that the people that exercised, they had less chronic diseases, they had overall better moods and better mental health. And an example of this from my life is actually my great-grandfather. He worked for the military. He was a prosecutor in the military, so it was a very stressful job. At age 60, he suffered a stroke where the doctors did not think he was going to be able to fully recover. But after he started getting back on his feet, he started exercising a lot. He would walk around the house. I remember he would do funny exercises. And this helped him recover, and he lived till the age of 86, which was way longer than any of the doctors expected. He lived a pretty healthy life because of this. It was also longer than any of his family members have previously lived. So I feel like exercising is a great way to prolong our life, and in the future help us even save money. So not only will it help us look better when we're older, but it also has monetary benefits. I know going into nursing, healthcare is very, very expensive. And by exercising, you can avoid some of those chronic illnesses, which will help you in the future. So the 3 actions that you can take to achieve 30 minutes of exercise a day is the first is take the long way to class. Avoid those pesky flyers on Brown Walk and enjoy the another side of campus. The second thing that you can do is you can go to the gym. We all have a membership because we all pay tuition, so might as well go. People pay hundreds of dollars, and we're so lucky it's already part of our tuition. And the third action that you can take is to make a more concrete New Year's resolution goal. You can, instead of saying, I want to lose weight or I want to work out more, you can find a new activity that you actually enjoy doing, and through this you can exercise more and make it more enjoyable. I know recreation.ucla.edu has lots of exercise options. They have anything from racquetball to water yoga. So after you perform these actions, you will see many benefits. You will have improved body image. You will have more confidence. You will be healthier, of course. You will be happier. So there should be no doubt in this room that you should exercise 30 minutes a day. I have summarized 2 reasons why you should exercise and 3 actions that you can take towards exercises and the benefits. And as we enter the new year, we should incorporate this into our daily lives because this will really benefit us in the long run. And we should embrace those UCLA hills because they're a blessing in disguise.
Thank you. Just start in the rear here. Yeah.
Hi everyone.
Thank you for waiting respectfully at the door.
Maria, your speech was really good. You used a lot of appropriate hand gestures. You nailed the fact that we had a small room to prevent you from making eye contact with the audience. That was good. I think your speech was really relevant to the audience.
Thank you, Arazu. Come on in and have a seat. Improvement.
Hi, I'm Zoe.
Hi, Zoe.
I really like your speech and I like the topic of it too. Maybe you could, you did a really good job and you really improved, maybe a little bit more energy and more movement, but I did think you did a good job. Yeah.
Yeah, your energy and you're filling the room with your energy and your enthusiasm is getting better, but don't let off on that. Continue to know that that's something you need to continue to work on. That was good. You started out with sort of, the hills of Westwood, and we trek around, but we still don't get enough exercise, and then you cited a statistic, and that was fine. Oh, you went into articles saying that we don't get enough exercise, and you cited the date, and they were good sources. So you had good arguments from authority. That was good. You cited the Norwegians and their summer-winter problems and not getting enough light in the winter, so they get depressed, and so they run up and down hills to take care of that. Your second reason was, and you had a dual thing there, which I liked. You had not only the study, which you didn't cite from the British Journal of Sports Medicine, but you cited your grandfather as an example. So that was a good personal story that helped bring it home, and so I liked that. Your actions for your classmates was good. Take a longer route and go to the gym and make a New Year's resolution. The benefits could have been a little longer. And your tie back was fine. Your research was good. What were your goals? Are they here somewhere?
Yeah, they are. They're on a separate piece of paper.
They're here somewhere?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll find them. Are they on this page? This page? There we go. Make more purposeful movement to communicate with the caution to demonstrate my points. Have more variation in my voice, and have the sticky principles of concreteness to make my stories more comprehensible to the audience. How'd it go?
I think I made like more eye contact with the room, and I tried to kind of like be engaged with the audience, and I feel like I did make it concrete because like I provided like specific examples.
Yeah.
Like I know like I forgot, like I mentioned the study, but like forgot to say like where it's from.
Right.
I got too caught up.
That was okay. I asked this of everyone. What was unexpected?
I thought it was a little unexpected when I was reading this because how the American Health College Journal said that 57% of college students do not have exercise because I don't know. I feel like we think of ourselves like so fit, like in our prime.
Yeah, but we're not.
Yeah.
Okay, make that more shocking then with your voice, and make it more astounding so that it really perks up the attention level there. I thought your stories were good. I thought the credibility through your sources were good. I thought you were credible as a speaker, so that was good. I thought you were concrete and not too abstract, so that was good. So you did a good job. Thank you. Okay, that'll bring us to, who did I call before? Isabel. Isabel Chu.
Isabel stuff. I just don't know what the Isabel situation is like.
Is Isabel Chu here?
One of the Isabels dropped down.
She dropped the class?
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll go to Olivia. Olivia Newton-John. Hi, Olivia.
Hi.
How you doing today?
Good.
That's good.
I'm Olivia.
Hi, wait, he's reading. Wait for him. Try it again.
I'm Olivia.
Hi, Olivia.
You don't have to burn books to destroy a culture. You just have to get people to stop reading them. Ray Bradbury. I always kind of cringe when I hear people say that they don't like to read or they just don't have time, because reading is more than a hobby. It's an important practice to keep us educated, to challenge our worldviews, and to give us insight into our emotions and our relationships with other people. There are some more complex and sophisticated ideas that just won't fit in a 2-hour movie or a TV news program. So today I'd like to persuade you to read more. And I'll give you 2 reasons why I think you should read more, and 3 actions that you can take in order to get started. I know that everyone has to deal with emotions and relationships, especially at our age, so I know you'll be interested in how reading can benefit your personal life and your relationships. And as students, I know you'll be interested in how reading can benefit your academics. So the first reason why I think you should read more is because reading can benefit your emotional health and the way you interact with other people. A study published in 2013 in the New York Times stated that adults who read just a few minutes of literary fiction per day were able to identify emotions in other people better. So they could recognize nuance between emotions that were similar. And literature has a way of sort of pointing out subtleties in the world and in our lives that sort of help us to appreciate the richness of the world around us. In my own experience, I think that reading has been sort of a humbling experience, because the more you read, the larger the world becomes, and then the smaller your own problems seem, and the happier that you feel. One of my favorite pieces of literature is Kate Chopin's The Awakening, and that's definitely an exercise in nuance, as it shows sort of a different perspective on what it means to be a mom and a wife and to love people without giving up yourself. And for me, who never really had a good relationship with my mom growing up, it really provided sort of a new perspective on what it means to be a mom, and it helped me appreciate who she was, the choices that she'd made, and her bravery and spirit, and I realized that we were a lot more alike than I had previously thought. So I think even a work of fiction can shed light on a real relationship and on your real life. The second reason why I think you should read more is because not only is it important in your personal life, but reading as a habit is also a habit of being resourceful, educating yourself, engaging your creativity and your analytical thinking, and not just getting your information from whatever's going on around you on Twitter or something. So one study that was done in 2001, but it's been cited in like most articles about reading since then, and it was done by researchers Cunningham and Stanovich out of UC Berkeley. And basically they found that avid readers, regardless of their general intelligence, knew more about things all across the board, from what a carburetor was, to how a stroke worked, to even like who the state senators were. And not only did they know more information, but they suffered less from misinformation, which might be even more important. There was one question that they asked of these college undergraduate students, and they were asking them about how many Muslims versus Jewish people they thought that there were in the world. And according to the college students, the average guess for ratio was about 0.5 to 1 for Muslims to Jewish people. The correct ratio is actually 45 to 1, which is pretty shockingly misinformed. There's actually 45 times as many Muslims around the globe as there are Jewish people, and about 70% of these college students thought there were more Jewish people. They think this is due to like news coverage of the time and sort of general pop culture, so they're not really reading and finding out information for themselves. But in their study, they found that avid readers did significantly better on this question than non-avid readers. So while some information, like what a carburetor is, might seem like just a novelty to know, other information is actually important in our worldview, in the political decisions we make, and even in stereotypes and prejudices that we may hold. So it's important to read because it's important to be in the habit of educating yourself. Not only that, but the older you get, the more exposure to reading can make a difference. A follow-up study that cited this study was in 2011 by researchers Mullen Buss, and they found that in preschool, exposure to reading accounted for about a 12% difference in language abilities across different kids, but by our age, at the undergraduate level, exposure to reading accounted for a 34% difference in language abilities. So it was only getting to be a more stark contrast as the kids grew up. Now that I told you 2 reasons why you should read, I'll give you 3 actions that you can take. First of all, just make time to read. I've read a ton of books just by reading 20 minutes before you go to sleep instead of scrolling through Instagram. And secondly, just pick a book that interests you. Read a wide variety of things. There's literally books about everything. And thirdly, share books with your family and friends. Read things that spark debates or heart-to-hearts. It can be really great to just have a discussion with someone about something that you read. After you perform these actions, I think that you'll be surprised at just how much joy you can get out of reading. You'll be better informed to make decisions and participate in discussions, and you'll have greater insight into your relationships and into who you are as a person. The world is really complicated and nuanced, and we can't experience everything in it, but we can read about it. You can read things that challenge you, and you can read things that change you. You might find that someone has put into words a feeling or an experience that you've never been able to describe, and you realize that you're not alone. And remember that the degradation of culture probably won't come from someone forcing all of the books to be burnt, but just by convincing you that it's not important to read. So when you don't read, you might as well be tossing books into the fire. Thank you.
Thank you. 618.
Hi, I'm Joe.
Hi, Joe.
I saw your speech. You're obviously very fluent and you had all the points organized and very structured. And you gave us clear signposts as to exactly which part of your game we're going to focus on. So I thought it was very easy to add. I thought it was also a good talking discussion.
Good evidence, huh? Improvement.
Hi, I'm Maria.
Hi, Maria.
And I thought your speech was really great. I thought it was really relevant. I don't know your improvements. I thought you did really great. Maybe you have more intonation in your voice, maybe sound a little more excited because you sound a little sad at points. But I thought it was really good.
Thanks.
Okay, vocal variety. Go ahead and have a seat. Well, you chose a great topic. You had a good quote from Ray Bradbury, which you tied back to about burning books and that sort of thing. Great visual reference. You want people to read more, and it seems that that's a dying pastime, and so you're really pushing a rock up the hill with this one. So it was really a persuasive challenge. I think you addressed it in your the way you can get off some social media and do it that way. I liked your evidence that you gave, your arguments from authority, where you suggested that you'd be more empathetic and have more emotional empathy and that sort of thing. And I like the personal story about you not getting along with your mother and then coming to appreciate her more, and so that's good. On the second reason, I think that your research there, you quoted the common research that everyone quotes, and that was good. And the shocking one about, all the Jews that are everywhere, so-called Jews that are everywhere in the world when they're really not. And that was a shocking piece of evidence. And your 2011 study I thought was good, about 34% gain in language skills, which, can really add up for people if they take advantage of it. Now your actions, 10 minutes and give up Instagram or checking Facebook at night, or put a book by the toilet or wherever you take your time. Find a book that interests you. I think that interest is going to be key, and one that with family and friends is good. Your benefits or the actions that you would get were pretty good. People seem to want to have condensations these days. They want to have bite-sized things they read, which is unfortunate, because sometimes things in depth are what really make a difference. So overall, you did a good job. You had a good tie back, and you did it within time. So you did a good job. Thank you. Oh, what was your unexpected?
Oh, the study with the statistic on the Jewish versus Muslim population.
Yeah, okay, good. Okay, that'll bring us to, we're on B's, right? Angela. Angela Kim.
Hi.
Hi, Angela. How you doing?
Good.
That's
A little
good.
scared.
A little scared. Pourquoi, as they say in Paris. Why are you scared?
Because I thought I'm the last one to go. Turn out to be the first. Right?
Not really. We're about 4 or 5 in. Okay. She's managing tension, communicating respect, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center.
I just arrived. Can I have a second to catch up my breath?
Certainly. Let me reset the timer too then. Okay. Yeah, that's good. I think if we get it any higher, we'll cut her head off. Okay, rock and roll.
Hi, I'm Angela.
Hi, Angela.
Hi. According to the research done by National Geographic, 70% of our planet is covered with water. That sounds a lot, right? Out of that 70%, only 2.5 is the fresh water that we can use. Further than, it's only 1% out of that 2.5 that we can actually access to. All the waters are trapped in ice glacier or snowfields. So it's only like, if you do the math, it's only 0.007% of the entire water in our planet that we can use, that can fuel and feed the 7 billion population nowadays. So we're talking about 0.007 of water and 7 billion population. So ask me the question like, do you think Mother Nature can feed us all with water and our future generations? With the current use of management and our water consumption, I don't think so. So today, I would like to talk about, and I would like to persuade you to save water. I'll present 2 reasons why we should save water and 3 actions that we can take. We all are living in LA, California. Water conservation and water scarcity has been a major issue that we have to pay more attention to. And especially in our school, there are lots of campaigns and projects ongoing to save more water. So under these circumstances, we should have a proper understanding the reason why we have to care more about the water scarcity and the actions that we can deal with the problem. The first reason why we should save water is that there are lots of people who don't have a proper access to clean and safe water. Going back into the past where I was in the Philippines, in my high school, I had an opportunity to visit the slum that was overrun by the Typhoon Haiyan in 2013. So our school actually planned to build 2 wells to provide the proper access to clean and safe water to the people. But once I got there, I was like so shocked to see a little boy grabbing his little cup and then he literally scooped it from the puddles that was made out of the rain. I was like so shocked. I ran to him, I stopped him, and then I took a look at the water. It was filthy, dirty, it was basically undrinkable. That experience made me to really horrified and be scared of the fact that there are actually people who doesn't have an access to clean, drinkable water. According to the research done by UNESCO in 2013, 1 out of 10 people in our world does not have an access to clean water. So I believe like everyone in this room has an access to drinkable water. Have you? And then who are the people drinking the water from puddles? I question. The second reason why we should save water is that the water is not sustainable with the way we consume and manage in today's society. Looking back into the flooding that happened in UCLA in last summer, and it caused us to lose lots of water. According to the article issued from the Los Angeles Times in July 30 in 2014, it was 20 million gallons of water that we lost. 20 million of water is the amount of water that the faucets that's been open for 15 years. Can you imagine the 15 years of water that we wasted for like several days? So there are lots of projects and campaigns that's ongoing, and they make you feel really responsible. Like, as a part of the community, by being Greens, I think we all have to stand up, act. We have to save water. And these are the reasons why we should save water, and I would like to talk about 3 actions that you can take. First, we can replace our faucets to water-efficient products. By replacing your faucets, you can save up to 40% of water usage. Second, you can recycle your water. Maybe you can use the water that you use for washing vegetables or fruits for gardening, or maybe you can save up some rainwater in order to do some car washing. The last action that you can take is that you can check for leaks. You can check for pipes and faucets. And there are some free services provided by the government. They can actually check your faucet and save up some water that you could have been wasted for years and years. And then, please, if you spot any leaks from the school, report it to the sustainability office. And then you can save them, you can get them fixed. And then if you take all these 3 actions, I'm sure you'll be surprised by the fact that you could have saved lots of water and you've been wasting huge amount of water, like subconsciously. And then simply changing the way of consumption, it could save a lot of water in daily basis. So in summary, I've shared 2 reasons why you should save water and then 3 actions that we can take. And in this room, there should be no doubt that you and I should work together to save water. So again, we are talking about 0.007% of water and 7 billion people on our Earth. The effort that we put in as an individual to save water will not seem that significant. However, if these efforts become the efforts of community, of school, of nation, of worldwide, I'm sure that things will be different. And then please ask me the question again. Do I think our Mother Nature can feed us and our children with sufficient water? I think with us changing our method in use of water and management, sure, she will have enough water for every one of us in this world. Thank you.
Thank you. 6:58. Thank you for respectfully waiting outside. Okay, we're back here in the rear. Let's continue across the back, please.
Hi, I'm Isabel.
Hi, Isabel.
It was really good. You have a really good pace by allowing us to kind of process what you say instead of trying to catch up with you. I thought it was a really good message, and I liked your story about the Philippines. That emotional story really added credibility and completeness.
Hi, I'm Trish.
Hi, Trish.
Angela, I think you did really well. I really liked your topic, and I thought it was very relevant. I like that your voice filled the room, but I noticed that sometimes you would look down, or when you would trip up on something, you'd apologize for it. Don't apologize for it, because sometimes we wouldn't even notice if you just had kept going, or just kind of brushed over it. And also maybe make more purposeful fluctuations with your voice, because sometimes I couldn't tell which was the most important point that you were trying to make. But other than that, it was really good.
Thank you.
Angela, I think you've improved over the course of the quarter. You chose a great topic to do. Water is life, and it's terribly important that we learn to preserve it and to use it wisely. And we have a lot of people to get the water to, as you point out, 7 billion. Your story from the Philippines, I agree, was a good story of a boy drinking dirty water from a cup. Was very poignant and brought the message home, and it was typical of things that go on in third and fourth world countries that are not so nice. On the second story you told about UCLA because of the broken water main on Sunset Boulevard, lost 20 million gallons of drinking water. I wasn't exactly sure how we linked that to, except that we needed to work on our infrastructure here in Los Angeles because it's 50 years old and there's going to be more breaks. So I suppose that's the lesson of that break. There's going to be more of them if we don't put money into fixing the pipes. And I suppose that was your action on a smaller level that you talked about, fixing your own pipes at home and checking for leaks and that sort of thing. Your benefits were fine. Your goals were to have strong eye contact with your audience, strong mannerisms, and to fake confidence. How'd it go?
I faked confidence, and then I didn't memorize, so I was able to make eye contact.
Yeah.
But I didn't pay much focus on my mannerisms, so I'm not sure what I have to check with the video.
Okay, and put your feet a little wider apart for the power stance. That'll make you a little more dominant up there as you're standing. And I think, if you can have more emphatic style of delivery, focus on key words and stress them, that would make you more effective. But overall, you did a nice job. Thank you. Okay, that brings us to, we're over here on this page now. We already did Olivia Everton, right? Yeah, so we go to Shelby. Shelby Grasser.
That's me.
Hi Shelby, how you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm swell. Yes. Okay, she's doing something back there.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Shelby.
Hi Shelby.
So today's presentation is going to be a little bit different than some of the others I've given. I'm actually going to be calling on people randomly in the crowd to sing a little bit of their favorite musical. So, do we have any volunteers? Just kidding, guys. Don't worry about it. No, but if you're like 75% of the American population, you are scared of public speaking in some degree, and so I'm sorry for the mini heart attack I just gave you. But in fact, some people actually fear public speaking more than they fear death, according to our textbook, which is kind of crazy. As we all know from being in this class, public speaking is so important. Every single day we use it in jobs, everything. But after today, we are not going to have as much of an opportunity to public speak anymore. So today, I'm going to persuade you to be in a musical. I know some of you are also quaking in your boots now, and you're thinking, I am never going to be in a musical, no way. But there are so many benefits and opportunities that being in a musical will provide you. And so today, I'm going to list off some of those. So I'm going to start with some of the benefits. A 2009 study from the Arts and Education Foundation found that students who are engaged or who do musicals actually are better academically, and students who come from low socioeconomic backgrounds but went to arts education schools actually were more likely to get into college and succeed further on in life. So that's awesome. If you want to do well in finals, you might want to be in a musical. It helps you with memorization. You get exercise. You get to meet. I mean, especially for the guys in the room, there are a lot of really cute girls who do musicals. Girls are not as much luck. There's a lot more girls who do musical than guys, but it's still a lot of fun. But I guess the main benefit that I'm going to talk about today actually happened when I was 11. So my family moved around a lot when I was growing up. But one of the hardest moves that I ever did was when I moved from St. Louis, Missouri to Denver, Colorado. This was an extremely hard move because I moved in the middle of the school year, and it was the 6th grade middle school. So everyone already had their groups of friends and stuff, and I came in completely alone. It was one of the saddest periods of my life in that cold, cold Denver winter. But my mom noticed that I was pretty lonely, and she decided to sign me up for The Wizard of Oz, a musical that was happening at North Glen Youth Theater nearby. I went in very nervous. I got cast as a farmhand and Emerald City girl, and I was very scared that I wouldn't know anyone and that they would all be friends already. But they came in and welcomed me with open arms. I had never felt so involved in my life, and it was so much fun practicing harmonies, working out and dancing with everyone, and learning the blocking every single day. The longest part of my week every week was waiting from the rehearsal on Saturday afternoon to the Tuesday night rehearsal. It was like the saddest time because I wanted to see my Northland friends. But being in that musical and working in a team made me feel like I really belonged there. It made me help me find my friend groups and gave me confidence. And so it made me feel just so good. And that's one of the reasons. The other reason that you should be in a musical is because of the many opportunities that you will get. Not only are there the basic opportunities, for example, I had an internship offered to me this summer at a public relations company because of being in Fiddler on the Roof with a friend last summer, and all this stuff like that. But there's also one opportunity in particular that really moved me. And so this happened during my sophomore year of high school. The summer before that, I had been in Les Miserables, and some of my friends who were in Les Mis were part of an organization called Heart for Africa. They went to Swaziland, which is a country in South Africa, every summer to help volunteer there. So according to the Center for Diseases Control and Management in 2011, Swaziland is the country in the world with the highest rate of HIV and AIDS. And if the rate continues the way it's going, there will be no adults left by 2020. And so my friends go to Swaziland, and they help build a farm for orphan children there, and who they can live and make food and stuff there. And so they were raising money through the musical Les Mis in order to go that next summer. So I was in it again, and we had so much fun. We only did 2 performances, but we performed each night to over a packed out audience of over 500 people per night in the church that we were at. And we ended up raising $20,000 for my friends to go to Africa. So it was incredible that we could do that through music. It was just such a great opportunity as well. All right, so now I'm going to talk about some ways that you can get involved in a musical. There's so many people who do musicals for the first time, all the time, like no matter what age, so you can totally audition at any time. But that is the first step, is simply auditioning. It may seem terrifying, I know, to stand in front of a panel of judges who are watching you. But honestly, it is such good practice for job interviews. I did so many auditions growing up that during my first job interview, I actually found it kind of easy. And knock on wood, so far, I have gotten every single job that I've interviewed for in person because of my experience doing musical theater and practicing. And the thing is, everyone else has to audition too, so you don't have to feel alone. The second thing that you can do is to actually be in a musical. That one's kind of simple. And like I said, it's a little scary for people who've never done it before, but everyone is so friendly, outgoing, and full of life, and you'll definitely fit right in. And if you're listening to me right now and you're thinking, I am never going to do either of those suggestions, I'm sorry, then I have a third suggestion for you, and that is to simply go and watch musicals. In 2012, a study found by the Alliant University, Heidi, Port, and Saito, were the researchers, found that people who went to musicals were actually better, they knew more about social issues, and they cared more about their fellow people. So not only will you get to go for a night of experiencing music and magic and like something totally different than studying in the library, but you'll also learn more about other people and yourself. So in summary, I have given you 2 reasons and 3 benefits for being in a musical. And it doesn't really matter, like I said, what part you play. I've been everything from Cosette and Les Mis to Jasmine in Aladdin, to a dancing spoon in The Beauty and the Beast, and I've been a blade of grass in The Lion King. So you can do anything. It's fun every time. It's a great humbling experience. But overall, being in a musical is just so beneficial. And when the next time someone asks you to stand in front of the class and sing a little song, you'll be ready. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for waiting respectfully at the door.
What was my time? I didn't see any
I
time.
think it was around 6:25.
Okay. I was kind of going on a whim, so.
Yeah, you were flying.
Hi,
Hi, Trenton.
I really liked your speech. It was really good. You had a lot of enthusiasm. Your book was really good. I was prepared. Much prepared. You made sure to incorporate a lot of concrete details. I like how you described the theater that was near your school. You gave names. You talked about the cold Denver winter. That was really good. I felt like I was engrossed in your speech the entire time.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Improvement.
Hi, I'm Angelica.
Hi, Angelica.
I think it was a good speech too. I liked the topic, but I think you were way too fast. It was so fast that I kind of lost myself.
Okay.
I think you were going so fast that you would cut yourself off and then go on you'd start a different sentence and kind of you would talk about something and be and then kind of go into a related but not entirely well-transitioned sentence. So I think if you slowed down, it'd be even better.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was probably my fault. I started the time after a minute. So after your first paragraph, I started a minute. So you went 5:25 that I timed. So
okay.
I know you were 6:25. So you had about 45 seconds left. Okay. So you could have chilled a little. I think this was an example, folks, of a speech where you have somebody that is very enthusiastic, and enthusiasm sells. And it can just be, you say, she cares so much about it, it must be good. And I think this is just a marvelous example of this. You had a good combination of your evidence and your personal examples that you sprinkled throughout. I got lost a little bit in where we were. I know you moved, and then your mother got you in a play, and then that changed your life, and then you got into some more plays, and then you did this Africa thing, and that was good. And then the concrete actions. I don't know about how many people are going to just go up to Freud Playhouse and audition, but we'll see. Maybe. But some other less intimidating kind of plays like community theater and things like that maybe would have been a suggestion I would have made for you. Your second work in the theater and that sort of thing, and your research about people being well-rounded that go to the theater was good. On the stickiness, what was unexpected?
I thought my intro was unexpected.
Yeah.
I was hoping this.
You thought it was a real grabber, huh? Yeah. Okay. And it did tie in nicely to the class, and it kind of did give everyone a skip of a heartbeat. So that was good. Are your goals here somewhere? I'm looking for them. They're here. Okay. You said slow down and give the audience time to digest, practice more to avoid feeling lost, and keep arms at my side. What's that all about?
Oh, I don't know. I just noticed that it's kind of a thing. I go like this sometimes, or like
this too much instead of letting them gesture. Yeah, let them. They should move, not keeping them at your side. So I think you did a good job. You had good emotions in this speech, so it was sticky in that way too, and it was definitely concrete. So that worked well. So thank you. Okay, that'll bring us to. We're on B's, right? Christine Tran. Did we lose you? We lost Christine. How you doing? Good, thanks. Here are your goals, okay. Okay, she's managing attention, communicating respect, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center, say your name, give love. Start your speech.
Hi, I'm Christine.
Hi, Christine.
So imagine a typical day when you're running late. You snooze the alarm too many times. You still have to brush your teeth, run out the door, and walk among all those big hills in Westwood to get to class. Okay, well, normally at that time I'm like, oh, I wish there was some way I could transport to class. So today, I don't have the solution to transport or teleportation, but I do have the next best thing, and that's biking. It takes me about 5 to 7 minutes to bike to class, but versus 25 minutes of walking. So if I do the math for you, that's about 100 hours of walking I save per year. And if among all of us, it's like 28 of us, 2,800 hours. Do you know what that equals to? That's 33,000 5-minute-long cat videos, or 3,000 episodes of Game of Thrones episodes, or to put it more simply, 166 days in a total year. So today I want to convince you why you should incorporate biking into your daily life, and 2 reasons why you should, and 3 actions you can take, and benefits you receive. And I think we would all care about this because I think we all care about our health, but not only that, but the environmental health. We live in Los Angeles, and as you know, it's a very smog-induced place. So the first reason why I'm going to say or suggest or try to persuade you why you should incorporate biking into your daily life is that there are a lot of health benefits. According to the CDC, or the Center for Disease and Control and Prevention, they said that in 2012 to 2013, a third of all U.S. adults are obese. Like, to me, that number is so crazy. But if you bike, biking can kind of reduce that. And so, according to Johnson of Columbia Studies, he basically said that for every mile that you bike, you basically burn 40 calories. Now, that doesn't sound like too much, right? But if you add that, so let's put that into the perspective of UCLA. If you bike to class, that means you burn about 120 calories a day. Over the total span of a year, you're burning 32,000. That equals 9 pounds, which is so insane because that's 9 pounds that you're reducing based on just not changing anything but biking to class. And so I think this has a lot of health implications for a lot of diseases and illnesses. Obesity is linked to like cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes. And basically there was a study done in Finland. They basically did a longitudinal research and found that you can reduce type 2 diabetes by 40%, which is a lot, I think. And I think I'm really passionate about this because disease is controlled by a lot of factors that are out of our hand. We can't do a lot about that. But I think one thing that we can take advantage of is exercise. And I know for me specifically, like I've been to the gym twice in 4 years that I've been here. But I bike a lot, and it allows me to be outdoors, and it allows me to focus on my physical health. It makes me feel really good about myself. And not only that, but it's great mental health to just kind of relax. The second reason why I want to persuade you to incorporate biking into your life somehow is that it can have a lot of impact on the environment. And basically, there's a lot of studies that have been done, but a really interesting one was that in 2012, the Institute for National Environmental Health Science, they did a study, and they basically found that there's a lot of economic impacts there's a lot of economic impacts on the environment, on your health too. So to kind of put this in perspective, so they did a little study, and it was basically, they compared 5 minutes, or less than 5 miles of biking versus using your car. And they found that the change that would cause would be $5 billion. Can you imagine that? If we just bike short distances for less than 5 miles, we can make a huge impact. And that's because your car emits really toxic chemicals when it's first starting up, and in the first 5 miles, that's when it's like kind of warming up to the optimal temperature. So that's why it's releasing a lot of toxic chemicals. And this makes me so astonished because it means that if each of us just bike a little bit here and there to the supermarket, to school, we could have major impacts for not only our city but our country and the environment we live in. So I think there's really great ways to do that. And an example in my life is sometimes I go to downtown Los Angeles and I'll go check out some places. And I'll bike there. I'll bike halfway, and if I get tired, I'll just hop on a bus, put my bike on, and ride the rest of the way and relax. And it's a really great way to, exercise, be part of the environment, like take time to look around, and there's just so many benefits, not only for you, but your environment around you. And so, I know that this is really a strange, there's so many things possible, but I think by actually just taking it in small parts, increments, I'm not saying that you should bike everywhere in your life, it just means that incorporating it daily. And so 3 actions that I propose that you could do is that you could, well, first of all, it's important to get a bike. So on Craigslist, they sell them for $100 for a road bike or less. Or once a year at UCLA, listen up, they give away hundreds of free bikes here on campus. So once a year you can find out when that day is, they have it online, and you can go get one for yourself. Second of all, the next thing you can do is you can just bike to campus every other day, or just kind of work yourself into it. It just kind of gets your foot in the door, sort of. And the third action you can take is to try to really commute to those places that are less than 5 miles the distance. And like I said before, that's when the carbon emissions are the most for a car. It's really just like driving to the supermarket. That can have huge impacts on your environment. So I think by taking these actions, you can really feel not only really motivated like mentally, but also physically, and you can have really great impacts on your environment and feel good. So in some way, I told you 2 reasons why you should probably bike, and 3 actions you can take to do this. And I mentioned before about the time, why you could save 2,800 hours. But it's not about just shaving the time off your daily life. It's about adding on years to your entire life. And I think that has really great impact. And I know we all want to make a difference some way, in some small contribution or large contribution. My small contribution is biking each day, and I think it can be yours too. Thank you.
Thank you. 6:34.
Hi everyone, my name's Miriam.
Hi, Miriam.
I thought your speech was really good. I really liked what you were talking about, and I just thought that the fact that you were putting a lot of making us think a lot of complicated, I guess, statistics and all these things in very simple terms was really helpful. And I really liked it because these things actually stuck in my head, like the fact that you could the 5 miles and how much time you're saving and how much calories you could burn, and all these things really helped to make your argument seem credible. And you had, I thought you had really good pace. So, yeah.
Improvement.
Hi, my name's Nicole.
Hi, Nicole.
Yeah, I agree with everything she said, but I think you compared it a lot to driving, and I don't know how many people here have cars, so I think maybe you could have compared it to walking a little bit too, and just kind of made it a little bit more relevant. But other than that, you had a really good delivery and stuff, so I don't know anything.
You can have a seat. Thank you for respectfully waiting outside. Yeah, you started off with you wanted to transport yourself because you were late to class with your bike, so I was waiting for you to transport yourself, but you tied back to the 2,800-hour statistic, and so that was fine. Your big press was for everyone to get a bike, and you had your statistics from the Center for Disease Control, and you stated the date, and you had good statistics. And I like the way you worked your statistics to make them really relevant to people. You're going to lose 9 pounds. It wasn't just abstract, but you related them to your audience, and so you were doing what you should do with statistics, so that was good. One quibble, you didn't state the year of your Finland study. I don't know if you know it. I like the way at the end of your segments of stating your arguments from authority, you gave your feelings, your passions, so you had good emotions in this speech, which I liked very much. I like the way you kept it under 5 miles, and then you talked about schlepping to downtown, which is more than 5 miles, and then you quickly added, I popped my bike on front of a bus, so that was good. Yeah, I agree. You probably could have talked to people more about other walking and taking a bus and other kinds of things to make this a little bit more palatable. And I think some people are paranoid of riding a bike in LA, the way people are kind of hostile to bike riders and they kind of ram them and stuff. So I think that's one factor that maybe you should have addressed. Are your goals here somewhere? They're here.
Yeah.
Okay. You wanted to continue to try to have vocal variety, to look for eye contact, to look at everyone, and to be more natural. How to go?
I think it was better this time. I felt like it was more like I was actually just thinking about what I knew and trying to convey that rather than like kind of memorizing or like that kind of style. So it's
More
like
extemporaneous.
Yeah, I felt more extemporaneous.
Good. What was unexpected?
I think a lot of it was the statistics, because even like I didn't know a lot of that data beforehand. Like I knew that there was a lot of benefits, but like even just when I calculated the hours that I saved, like it was an incredible amount.
Okay. Make them more with your voice then, so they come out as being more unexpected. But you did a nice job. Thank you. What do you think?
I'm gonna get it over with.
She got an out. Oh, is she a B or something? Brianda?
Yeah.
Okay, you're a B or something?
She's an A.
You're an A?
Yes, she's right here.
Okay. Yeah, you can move her cookies. Okay, she's managing attention, communicating respect, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name, feel the love. Say your speech.
Hi, my name is Brianda.
Hi, Brianda.
Hi. The first 2 shots were fired at 7:15 a.m. on April 16th of 2007, claiming the lives of a freshman female and a male resident assistant. The unidentified shooter fled the scene immediately after, before the police had the ability to arrive at the scene. 2 hours later, Cho, a 23-year-old Virginia Tech senior, arrived back on campus armed with 2 guns and hundreds of rounds of ammunition. Just 10 minutes later, the lives of 27 students and 5 faculty members had been claimed. The public soon learned that Cho had a long history with mental illness and that he had recently raised serious concern in his violent writings for many of his classes. This giant tragedy could have been entirely prevented, and so could have all the others that followed since 2007. The National Institute on Mental Health stated in 2012 that about 20% of young Americans between the ages of 18 and 25 are suffering with some form of mental illness. So that means that up to 4 students in this classroom right now could be battling with some kind of mental illness on any given day. This number is incredibly high, and yet our understanding of mental illness is surprisingly low. So today I want to persuade you all to try to gain a better understanding and awareness of mental illness. I'm going to give you 2 reasons that I feel this is an important issue to address, and I will provide you with 3 actions that you could take in order to become more aware and responsive to mental illness, as well as the benefits that can follow if you choose to adopt my proposal. So the first reason that I feel it's really important for you to gain some knowledge on mental illness and try to understand it to the best of your ability is stems from my own experience with the pain and suffering that is caused by a lack of understanding what somebody with mental illness goes through on any given day. I've shared with you guys how my mom's severe depression really affected my entire family as well as myself and her, obviously, causing us all a lot of pain. But I haven't really shared with you guys that my mom's not the only person in my family battling severe mental illness. When I was 17 years old, my oldest brother, Christian, was also diagnosed with schizophrenia. By the time he was diagnosed, it had been 3 grueling years for my family of watching, heartbroken as we watched Christian lose a little bit of himself every single day. We didn't really know how to interpret any of his irrational behavior, so naturally there was a lot of anger and resentment on my part. I thought Christian was doing drugs. I thought he was drinking, or I thought that maybe he was just throwing his life away to spite us all. Regardless of whatever the reason was, I couldn't understand how my best friend was all of a sudden just gone. It was like this person was just dead, and it was a whole new identity that none of us really understood. The reason that Christian's suffering was so much more intense was because my family didn't know how to react. So I feel very strongly about trying to understand this disease, because I feel like if we had known a little bit better what Christian was experiencing every day, we could have put our anger aside and kind of given him all the attention that he needed to get better. The second reason that I feel really passionate about this and think that you need to seek to understand mental illness is that I believe it will empower you to save lives of people who might never reach treatment otherwise. By the time Christian reached or was diagnosed, it was pretty bad. He was suicidal and had expressed that, so we were all really afraid. I felt that things were really bad, and I knew he was in a bad place, and I could tell it was only getting worse. It felt like this ticking time bomb, and I felt like one day I would just come home from school and I would find him. Or in the middle of the night, I would wake up because I heard a sound and I thought, oh my God, he finally did it. I'm going to have to see my brother, and he's going to be gone, like really gone this time. So I don't really think it has to get to this point. I think that mental illness could be entirely prevented. And if not prevented, I mean, we could act sooner so that people don't get to that awful state where they don't even want to live anymore. I think that if we are able to understand the disease, then maybe we can all react a little bit better to it and address the matter, so that we can save people or even ourselves in some cases. So third, I'm going to provide you all with some actions that you could take to hopefully allow you to be more understanding and responsive to mental illness. The first thing that I think you can do is to seek information on mental illness and try to just get the best of understanding that you could find. The National Alliance on Mental Illness has a great website with a lot of resources that can give you information on symptoms, the differences between mental illnesses, and also resources where you can get some help for people if you need to do that. The second action that I implore you to take is that I really would love it if all of you could just try your best to treat people with mental illness with the same respect and sympathy that you would treat any other human with. For a really long time, I couldn't even maintain eye contact with Christian. I didn't understand what he was doing. I didn't know what he was going through, so I couldn't hold a conversation with my brother or even just look him in the eye. In 2011, Cambridge researchers did a cross-cultural study, and they found that in countries where the public felt more comfortable talking to people with mental illness, the patients experienced less stigma. They were more likely to get treatment, and they were more likely to feel empowered. So next time you see somebody on the street who shows weird signs and and they're acting kind of funny, maybe it's that homeless guy that's rambling or doing weird things, I encourage you to just give them a smile and look them in the eye, because it could have a great impact on their ability to get better. The last action that I think is imperative for you to take is that I think you need to be honest with yourselves if you are experiencing any signs of mental illness as well. I know that none of us like to admit when things are wrong or seek help, but if you feel like you need help, there's great resources like CAPS, where you can get personal counselors or attend group meetings as well. Mental illness is really hard for us to all understand because it's not tangible and it manifests itself so differently in every individual. There's so many giant hurdles that we need to overcome as a society in order to understand and treat mental illness properly. But I don't think that it should take giant tragedies like that of Virginia Tech to get our attention. So I think that if we can personally take it upon ourselves to try to understand the disease to the best of our ability, to be responsive to the signs, and to take charge of our own mental health, we could save lives and prevent devastating losses. Thank you.
7:50. Thank you for waiting respectfully outside.
Hi, I'm Tiffany.
Hi, Tiffany.
That was really entertaining and really informative. As usual, your voice was really good at filling the room, and you had a really good pace. That made it really easy to follow. And even though, using your personal experience instead of like mostly statistics was kind of different. I think it was really effective in your speech. The emotion that you conveyed just made your story like really credible and made me just really like feel where you're coming from. And I just like thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah. Prove it.
I'm Karen.
Hi, Karen.
I was really touched by both of your stories. Like Tiffany said, like it was great that you shared personal stories. I would like to have a little bit more statistics, especially on schizophrenia a little bit, so we have an understanding of like how like often or prevalent it is. Also, yeah, you got us emotionally, and it almost sounded like you were going to tear up, but you didn't. So it was really good that you stayed strong. I think you moved your leg a little too much. It just
kind of
a
like
little distracting.
belt moving back and forth. Yeah, I felt that.
Yeah.
And I guess it was a really good like intro. I just want to say with Virginia Tech, and I liked how you explained it all, and then told us that was what the story was. So thank you.
Right. You've heard me use the metaphor of walking the razor's edge when you find yourself tearing up, right? And she walked the razor's edge beautifully. She kept her emotions under control, yet they were there and present and very powerful. Thank you for having the courage to share this about your brother Christian and your family. It couldn't have been easy, and it probably isn't easy to this day. We've grappled with this on the debate team, these Virginia shootings and these school shootings, and I must just tell you honestly, I'm not so sure there's an easy solution to these school shootings. I'm not so sure it's a matter of us just picking out this guy as mentally ill and say no guns for this guy. It's a difficult thing to keep guns away from people. They're very clever at getting them and very clever at it's just a complicated thing. But nonetheless, you had a very vivid intro that everyone could relate to, and you tied back to that. That was good. Yeah, I think the speech, it was too long, and you could have shortened down the personal a little bit and had a little bit more on the statistics and arguments from authority, we call it, and have a little bit more convincing actions. I think that they were good actions, though. I think that I like the one of treating people with sympathy and respect. I think that's a pretty good one. I don't know about the last one, being honest with yourself. I suppose that's a good one. You have this, the way you're standing now, you have that tendency to do that with your leg when you're talking. It's distracting. But overall, except for going overtime, you gave a very powerful speech, so thank you.
Could I please go first because I have a fever and I don't think I'm going to make it to the next.
Don't give it to me.
Sorry? I won't. I don't think I can make it out alive, so I need to go.
Oh, you're missing the job.
Yeah, the song we got.
Oh, you're makeup?
Oh no, like last class when you didn't you didn't get to it.
You ran out of time.
Yeah.
Clock be ticking. You're gonna have to use 2 batteries today.
Still on green.
Okay, Mr. Sicky. Okay, he's managing attention, communicating respect, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name, feel the love. Start your speech.
Hi guys, I'm Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Everyone says forgiving is a lovely idea until you have someone to forgive. C.S. Lewis. Indeed, forgiving someone, I think, is one of the most important and challenging forms of favor when it comes to a human relationship. And this is especially more difficult if you consider forgiveness as dropping and letting go all negative emotions related to that certain occasion or certain person. That will include resentment or vengeance. And because we're so used to the notion of eye for eye and tooth for tooth, it obviously sounds like forgiveness is something that you grant. It's an extra cost that you need to bear on your shoulders, on top of the scar that you got from the person. Today I stand here not to persuade you guys to forgive. I stand here to persuade all of us, and that includes myself. And honestly, I don't have the right to be here because I also have people that I can't forgive to this day. But because I think it's an important issue and it really sincerely matters to all of us and to me, I feel like we should address this. So the first reason that I think we should all forgive one another is that it's a favor to us mentally. It's a self-imposing favor. So obviously the degree of forgiveness that you need to grant ranges. Well, so one time I had a friend in high school, we would have fights over like the silliest things, like we would have fights over like who's taller and not because we have different shoes, and he deleted me on Facebook after that. And we have those silly moments, but there are moments where things happen to you in one way and you don't know how to get out of the hole that you didn't even get yourself into. I know a friend of mine last year, he was sexually assaulted by his roommates, and he ended up taking a gap quarter because the case with the dean did not go well to his case because he was taking like caps. He was with a counselor and he couldn't make it to the meetings, he couldn't make it to the deans often. So he ended up taking a gap year, while the perpetrator, after a week of suspension, still went to school. Now I know that guy. I saw him in school walking and going to class, and I see the victim just scarred and not being able to do anything. And after a quarter or two, I saw my friend bring himself back up and said that he was coming towards to forgiving the person, not because it's a nice act to do, because I believe that forgiveness is an inner medicine for your soul that benefits yourself if you let go of others. Now, according to Walker, she's an author of The Power of Forgiveness, which was published in 2011, and she's also part of the American Association for Counseling, I think it's the American Counseling Association. She said that we all have blockages in our lives, and the only way you can get through this blockage, the only key through this blockage is forgiveness. And I feel this is a perfect quotation to explain the examples before. The second reason that I feel like we should forgive one another is that it's a favor to yourself physiologically, and this comes with science. So since 1999, when the Stanford Forgiveness Project first started, we've had all these stats about, if you forgive people, you tend to have lower rates of depression, you tend to be more hopeful about the future, which was all good. But when it came to 2011, a Journal of Behavioral Medicine released an article saying that people who forgive not only have lower blood pressure and enhanced immune system, but higher life expectancy. Now this became like a complete shock in the transpersonal psychology field, where they did not have much research back then. So the following year, 2012, the same Journal of Behavioral Medicine, led by Dr. Amy Owens, yes, Dr. Amy Owens, she conducted a poll of 1,500 people from the age of who were in the age of 66, from all different kinds of socioeconomic backgrounds, all different kinds of religions. And after 3 years, she traced back to the interviewers and took the same poll. The first poll was questioning, what kind of forgiveness do you intend to grant? And about 1,000 of them said unconditional due to religious reason. About 300 of them said conditional, and remaining 200 said they won't forgive. Surprisingly, 3 years later, they tracked the interviewers. They can only find 1,000 interviewers who were the same people back then. They couldn't talk to the 300 people because of personal reasons. And the 200 people who said they won't forgive, deceased. They were gone. Obviously, I'm not saying if you don't forgive, like, you're gonna die right away. And this matter obviously won't resonate with us as much because we're in college. I feel like it's something that we should definitely bear in mind as we go into the world and graduate. So I told you 2 reasons as to why I feel like forgiveness is a self-imposing favor. Now I'm going to tell you 3 concrete actions that you can take. The first action that you can take is trace back your history and make sure that whether you have actually forgiven someone or not, or you've just condoned it. Giving a time is not the same as forgiving, and even though I really don't want to rub it into anyone's faces, including myself, I think it's really important that you know whether you forgave someone or not, or whether you think you have forgiven someone or not. I think there's a very a stark distinction when it comes to that. The second is that never do this alone. For me, I found church and had the church community help me out. I have a lot of family things, but if you have parents who are supportive, fall back to your parents, because the range of the time period that it takes for forgiveness ranges from a week to 10 years. So you really need someone to fall back on. That's why you shouldn't do this alone. The third action that I want you guys to pursue is that
tell the person you're forgiving them.
Tell the person, make sure after you've forgiven them, try to go up to the person and tell them, because what I found out is that when I didn't forgive anyone and I continued on with my life, I would have people exactly similar to the person that I didn't forgive, and I would react in the same way. So by forgiving the person, you're essentially letting go of your past, and you're able to renew yourself. So I told you 3 actions that I think you should pursue if you are to forgive one another. Again, I don't have the right to stand here. I should be here listening to myself say it. But as C.S. Lewis said, it sounds all sweet and nice and lovely until you have someone that you forgive. And there should be no doubt in this room that we should really try to pursue to forgive one another, because it is not an act of nice thing that you grant. It's a self-imposing favor. Thank you.
7:42. Thank you for waiting respectfully outside. What's your name? Hi, Eunice.
I like how even if you stumble on some parts, you still maintain it. You don't really get flustered like other people, like myself. So I really like that.
Okay, good. Improvement.
I'm Josh.
Hi, Josh.
Yeah, I really like your speech as well. Especially with your topic forgiveness, it seems like kind of a little abstract topic, but you were able to make it concrete and find credible evidence for your topic as well. As for improvement, there was some times where it was a little choppy. You were trying to think ahead, making sure you knew what to say, but it was just a little abrupt sentences. But I'm sure that just comes with practice if you practice it. So that's it.
Yeah, I agree with those comments. Joe, I like the topic. And I like the honesty that you brought to this and the humility that you brought to this. I think that we all carry some grudges around with us that we shouldn't. But it's difficult. I think that Christianity has a model in Jesus. The people that crucified him, he forgave them. So if he can forgive somebody that crucified him, you can forgive somebody that stepped on your toe, right? So that's the ultimate, I suppose, model. The sexual assault story was pretty shocking. The Sandy Walker evidence was good. The psychological favor to yourself psychologically was okay. I don't know. It was a little, the people that were deceased, it was a little hard to believe, but okay. You know, your actions were fine. You forgot one of them. You were running a little long, that's all. Just the fluency of it, you could have just practiced this a little bit more and you would have been, would have been on top of it. What were your goals today? I don't see them here.
Oh, it's probably on the second sheet better.
Second sheet here. Oh, okay. More natural hand motion, make the emphasis better, and use humor. How'd it go?
Oh, well, for the first one, I don't know, like, my head's like jumbled right now because of humor, but I tried to make it more, more fitting to whatever I was describing with my hands. I did try to emphasize, and I think the fact that I became really choppy with my speech was that I wanted to make sure I wanted the signposts of the reasons of the acts.
Wow.
I guess I did them in the wrong times. That made it a little start. With humor, like I wanted to lighten up.
Yeah, well, it wasn't, it's a hard speech to be really light about because, it's kind of a heavy topic. But yeah, you did a nice job. Thank you. Are you next?
I'm the A that.
Oh, you're the other missing A.
Yes.
Okay, rock and roll. Are we on borrowed time yet?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's someone eating their McDonald's hamburger in class. So we'll wait till she gets done making noise. Oh, there's an orange being peeled. Okay. Yeah, she's doing something, I don't know what.
I'm checking the time.
She's checking the time.
Okay. Hi guys, I'm Eunice.
Hi Eunice.
Hashtag life struggles, hashtag persuasion, hashtag listen to me. Hashtags. They're everywhere. They're on Twitter, they're on Facebook, Instagram, you name it. But today I want to talk about a particular hashtag called hashtag X. For those of you guys who don't know, hashtag X is a part of AT&T's It Can Wait campaign that was launched earlier this year. According to the YouTube video that the AT&T released on July 27th of this year, hashtag X means, I won't be responding to text for a bit because I'm about to drive. Today I want to persuade you guys to refrain from texting while driving. I'll present to you 2 reasons and 3 actions, as well as the benefits that will follow if you decide to follow my proposal. Everyone at some point throughout the day encounters a car, and with each encounter, there's a possibility of a car accident, no matter how small that possibility is. Having said, I know you'll be able to relate to my topic today. The first reason I want to persuade you to refrain from texting while driving is because doing so can dramatically decrease the number of car accidents that occur each year. As of 2014, according to the National Security Council, 23% of car accidents occur due to cell phone usage. This results in 1.3 million crashes nationally. Not only that, every time you use a cell phone while you drive, you increase your chances of a car accident by up to 8 to 23 times. Now take a moment to let all this sink in. 1.3 million crashes. That's 13 times the seating capacity at the Rose Bowl Stadium. And I don't know about you, but when I walk into that stadium and see the thousands of people sitting there, I'm overwhelmed with just that situation. To imagine 13 times that is just simply unthinkable.
Okay.
Now, I feel horrified about this issue because I can speak from personal experience that car accidents are traumatic experiences. As I mentioned in a prior speech, I was involved in a car accident in 5th grade, and this left me with just so much internal distress. I was always stressed about legal complications with the lawyers, with the insurance issues. My physical, I had a lot of physical pain, so I was forced to be in hip and back therapy for about 3 months. I also had a lot of psychological issues. I was very scared of silver cars for a couple of years after my accident. There were a lot of times when I woke up screaming from nightmares if I saw any car accidents throughout the day or heard about any car accidents. Obviously, this was a time, all these things were just so hard for a 10-year-old to handle. And I just feel that if people follow just a simple rule of not using their phones while driving, of just not texting while driving, they could just save so many people from having to go through these scarring experiences. The second reason I want to persuade you to abstain from texting while driving is because doing so can help prevent injuries or deaths to innocent people. In 2013, the U.S. Secretary of Transportation, Mr. Ray LaHood, stated that there is no way to text and drive safely. Powering your phone off while going behind your wheel can save lives, maybe even yours. In 2011, the U.S. Department of Transportation conducted a survey called the National Occupant Protection Use Survey. This concluded that at any given daylight moment across America, approximately 660,000 drivers are using a phone while driving. In November of this year, AT&T also sponsored a survey that concluded 90% of drivers claim to understand the dangers of texting while driving, yet do it anyway. I feel terrified about this issue because thinking about how people intentionally pursue actions that can possibly endanger another person's life is just simply frightening. If you think about it in this regard, how different is texting while driving from intentionally going up to another person and physically inflicting pain upon them? Last summer, I was out hanging out with a friend of mine, and when we were driving back home, my friend hit a red light while we were trying to make a left turn. And when this happened, he immediately took his phone out and started to text. At the time, I didn't think much of it because it was a red light. I didn't think there was any harm that could happen from it. But what happened was that he was just so distracted by texting that when the light turned green, he automatically initiated a left turn, and he failed to see the man in the black hoodie and the black pants crossing the street. Now, thankfully, we did manage to avoid a car accident, but if I hadn't screamed at that moment for him to stop, he would not have looked up from his phone, and he would not have stopped the car and just braked the car in that moment. And this frightens me because in that moment we had endangered another person's life. And this occurs every time another person texts while driving and is not able to focus their whole attention on the situation. Now I want to propose to you 3 actions that you can take in order to follow my proposal of refraining from texting while driving. First, before you start your car engine, text #X to the person you were holding a conversation with. This will let them know that you're about to be going behind the wheel and can't respond to them for a while. It's shorter than TTYL, talk to you later, and even Demi Lovato and Tim McGraw do it according to the YouTube campaign. So please give it a try. The second action that I would like to propose to you is downloading an app that blocks emails, incoming phone calls, and text messages while you're driving. Such apps are DriveScribe, even AT&T's Drive Safe Mode app. These apps are available for both the Android and for the iOS, so go find them on Play Store. Also, the third action that I'd like you to consider is when you get into the car, don't put your phone in a place where you can be tempted to reach for it even at a red light. Make sure it's out of sight and out of reach. Now, when you perform these actions, you'll just feel so much more secure and confident when driving. You'll be empowered knowing that you're actually making a difference. In summary, I've shared with you 2 reasons for why you should refrain from texting while driving, and 3 actions as well as the benefits that'll follow. Things like LOL or LMAO or what you doing, those things can wait because honestly, no text is worth a life. So please be a part of AT&T's It Can Wait #X campaign and pledge to not text and drive.
Thank you. 6:49. I think we're over here now.
Hi, I'm Angela.
Hi, Angela.
Eunice, I think you're a very likable speaker, and I appreciate the fact that you share the pain that you went. And also, I think you're really good in integrating your statistics within your speech, so I really like that.
Improvement.
I'm Blake.
Hi, Blake.
I'm not really sure what your improvement could be. Yeah, I honestly don't know. It was really good. Nothing was like really noticeably like needed to be improved, so it was pretty clear and good. Sorry.
He was perfect. Okay. Eunice, you started off with hashtags, maybe a simple definition for the uninitiated, but you got that. you got through that, and it was very catchy and very interesting. You had a very important topic that one would think by